Sorta Ridiculous is sponsored in part by Drunken Cobra. Drunken Cobra is a diverse, inclusive neighborhood pub in East Tosa. It offers year-round weekly events like karaoke and music performances, and now stand-up open mics. That's right.
No kidding.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Drunken Cobra is located at 6818 West North Avenue. Drunken Cobra, obey the snake. That's right. That's right. So, folks, this is another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. Smash the button. Smash the button. 2 times now, y'all. Cha-cha real smooth. Cheering it out. All right. So, I'm Darren, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Billy Ray.
Hey, happy Thursday, River West. As always, I mean, sometimes I take a day off. Sometimes other sidekicks take a day off.
Most definitely. So, like Misha, shout out to you, Misha. We miss you. So I know we'll see you next. So yeah, we miss you. No, that's fantastic. I love that. All right, folks. So with us also today, we have a pretty cool guest. We have Faklandia's own. That's right, Faklandia Brewing. That is Nate Fakler.
What a great coincidence that you're working for a place that's got like so similar to your last name.
It's so weird how that happened.
Yeah, that's like, craziness.
What kind of?
It's like Lou Gehrig, except more upbeat,
but more viral. No, that's awful. Yeah. All right, but yeah, dude, how are you doing today?
I've had a day. It's one of those days where I had 2 things on my agenda, right?
Yes.
The first one being take my one of my dogs to their grooming appointment, and the other thing was to be on the show. I counted earlier. I had 17 things pop up that needed my attention today. In between then.
Oh wow!
And it was. I've had a day, but that's fine. That's fine. That's what beer's for, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But it's just one of those things where every time I tried to accomplish something, it was like, nope, you need to do this. You need to make this phone call. Hey, the insurance company needs money. Oh, really? Again? How does that happen? Yeah.
So it's the cost to be the boss, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
All right, well, it's all good. We're great. We're very fortunate to have you on this show.
I'm alive and well and in the hot seat, so that's all that counts, right?
That's right. Speaking of being in the hot seat, we have a few questions for you since you
just
are
three.
a new
Just the questions 3.
Need the questions 3.
All right, you ready for this?
Probably not.
All right, you'll be perfectly fine.
Nobody ever is.
All right, folks. So, what is something sort of ridiculous about you?
Like sort of ridiculous, or
yeah,
like a lot of ridiculous?
Just sort of.
Just sort of.
But then again, sorta is relative. So,
I mean, man, there's a lot of things I could pick. I guess not everyone knows this, but I'm a cancer survivor.
Oh, really?
Wait,
yeah.
What? Wait,
yeah.
what?
I mean, congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone gets to pull the sort of ridiculous, what's ridiculous about you? Well, I almost died in 2015, so there's that.
Oh, far out.
Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago then.
Yeah, no, it was. I had testicular cancer. It spread in my lungs and my lymph nodes.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that cancer is pretty ballsy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you made it.
I did. That's what they call me Uno. Because I reversed that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
See what I did there?
Oh, yes. You flipped it and reversed it. Yes.
Call Missy Elliott.
No, that's sort of ridiculous.
That's why everyone's like, oh, man, you had such a bad day and all this stuff happened to you. Why are you so, chipper? And, okay. And I'm like, I've literally gone through the worst thing that didn't kill me. So here we are.
Right. So my question for you is, all right, so not having 2, does that kind of throw you off balance or something like that?
No. So the cool thing is they were like, listen here. We understand that there's a deficit. We can throw you a prosthetic. And have you guys ever played Duke Nukem?
Yes.
Sure.
And I was like, so, Doc, have you ever played Duke Nukem? And he's like, no. I was like, well, there's a phrase in there. And he goes, I've got balls of steel. And I was like, you got to give me at least one of those. And they were like, well, unfortunately, we can't, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you have to settle for silicone. And I was like, all right, fine.
Right.
But either way, yeah, so that's, my superpower.
Who one of the squoosh balls that, changes color when you...
I wish. No, it's
a mood ball.
It's a hell of a party trick to be able to win Rochambeau 50% of the time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, with that being said, question 2. What is something sort of ridiculous to you?
Something that's sort of ridiculous to me. Man. That's a fun question. I'm going to go with, like, the overall cost to eat healthily. I think that blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That food that has had less stuff done to it costs less, or costs more.
No, that's for sure. That's true, because garbage, they'll just hand it out to you. Okay, almost hand it out for you, but like all that organic. What's your thoughts on GMOs and GMOs or non-GMOs?
Okay, so here's the double-edged sword part of the conversation is like, yeah, they're probably doing something weird to us, right? But at the same time, like, there's the opportunity where it's like, oh, now we can grow 4 times the amount of corn in like half the space. Right?
Yeah, what are they modifying it to do? If they're modifying it for higher yields, okay, maybe higher nutrition, fine. If they're, a lot of the time they're just modifying just to make a giant tasteless tomato.
Exactly. So like it's the difference between giving Hitler laser vision or giving like Helen Keller her sight back, right? Like
Helen Keller laser vision.
Yeah, Helen Keller laser vision. She can't see anything, but she can burn whatever she looks at, right?
You see, I think that the GMOs should like give like corn Bluetooth abilities. So corn could turn into like a speaker or a receiver. Like a phone icon.
I know they got the potato clocks that you just jab on.
Okay, and those are like GMOs or like
I think it's just a regular old potato.
Okay,
potatoes are conductive.
Right.
So, just to clarify, I wasn't trying to like promote anything weird. I was just trying to make a analogy to like
no, just all good.
Corn. I just want to.
I think Helen Keller with laser vision is just or just LASIK. Maybe that was
exactly.
That would help.
It'd be like Daredevil, but with like Cyclops abilities.
Right.
Yeah. So you're using the same power, but for good.
Yeah.
Or for chaos, but it's not for focused evil.
Yeah. It's creative.
There you go.
That's all I wanted to get at. I want to make sure everyone understood my base there.
All right, gotcha. So, question 3. What is something sort of ridiculous that has happened to you?
Oh, well. Something sort of ridiculous that happened to me. I mean, I already covered that.
Yeah.
So
or uncovered, but yes.
There's about you and then there's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess happened to me would have been I was 8 years old and I was at a hotel in Florida and I couldn't reach the microwave buttons for one of those burritos you get from like the cantina area of the hotel.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Tom Cruise was in that same hotel at the time, and he helped me microwave a burrito when I was 8 years old.
So he helped you with your impossible mission?
Exactly. He did.
Nice. There's some risky business there. It was,
oh, snap. Was he your top gun at that point?
He was, in fact.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was just standing there at the edge of tomorrow, and I just couldn't reach
He is a legend, yes.
Yeah. We could do this all day.
The Littlest Samurai. That's really not a pun. I just like saying that.
Right.
Yeah, but no, that was a good one. Or the time I got stranded in California when I tried to move away from Wisconsin because I ran out of money in 3 months.
Oh,
that was
fun. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you the story. I moved into a house that had 8 other people living in it, and they were all from Taiwan, and the rent was $500 a week to stay in a room in a house with 4 other people, and the old lady would cook she must have been in her 90s at the time. She'd cook from like 7 a.m. to like 7 p.m. and we couldn't communicate because everyone just spoke Mandarin, so there's a lot of pointing. But they gave me the Mandarin name for landfill, which I always forget what it is because I always ate all the leftovers. So
so that was your nickname.
Yeah, so she made all these plates up for the people coming in and out of the house all the time because they had like a whole family dynamic thing going on, and whatever was like extra that didn't fit on their plates, she put aside. So at the end of the day, I had like 5 or 6 of these like random plates set up so that they gave me the name.
Did some, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to learn enough Mandarin to be able to like remember what she was saying and then like repeat it to somebody who also spoke English. So like, oh, they're calling you like landfill or like disposal.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
So how do you find a living situation like this? So you might moved out to California. Did you just move out blind, or did you?
Oh, completely. Yeah.
So then, how did you find it?
In a backpack.
If nobody spoke English, then it's not like you really would read it in the paper. I would guess.
So I actually went to the supermarket because I wanted a Gatorade.
Sure.
And I got off the plane. I went to because I was meeting somebody I met that was supposed to help me when I got there in Los Feliz. And I was at the grocery store, and there was a little like cheap rent thing.
Sure.
And all it said was cheap rent in the address, and it had a phone number. And I ripped the little tag off for that, and then I went there and I talked to the lady. Well, I tried to talk to the lady, and all that I got to understand was it was $500 a week. And I was like, oh, I'll get a job, but no, that didn't happen. But yeah, so so it was very it was very very weird because then she just like grabbed my stuff and put it away, and then I was like, I guess I live here now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I was
very hospitable.
But then I ran out of money 3 months later, and then my friend Danny, I ended up living on his couch for the next I don't know, was it like 6 weeks or so until what ended up happening was because I was there I was on a mission I was like, I'm gonna figure out because everyone's opening restaurants in LA like that. It must. There's got to be some like magic formula.
Right.
So I went out there to mess around with that dream. I was 22 years old and I had no money, so like it wasn't going to happen. But I didn't know that. So I ended up living in before living there, I ended up talking to a local hotel that was in the area, and I was able to. They let me work in their kitchen, and when I was working in the kitchen, they let me stay at the hotel in one of the vacant rooms, and I got to eat. Again, leftovers. That was like my life, right?
Right. No. That's.
I mean, you got to keep body and soul together. I mean, it's honestly, it's not,
Yeah.
And you were in California making it happen. Well,
I didn't make anything.
Well, it was you were in California.
But you brought it.
happening.
You brought it back, and you're making it happen here.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Faklandia is a great place.
It really is.
I don't get down there nearly as often as I do, but I mean, I've been a fan of that corner. For many years in many different
iterations of it, right?
And I think what you guys are doing is like the best of everything that everybody's done.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah,
I'm really. I mean, I don't know you, but I'm hella proud of you.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we're trying to evolve it even further. We're trying to like dial in what we're because the first 2 years we were open, we were were COVID years.
Right. Sure.
Right. So I didn't.
The fact that you even kept your head above water during all that
and I can't even swim.
Admirable, right?
But the whole thing is we never got to identify ourselves and like choose an identity what we were going to be. Obviously, nerdy brew pub.
Yeah.
But we kind of got pushed into the food aspect because the city needed us to have a occupancy, and they needed us to have the kitchen because it was in there, and they just lost 2 restaurants in the area. So they were like, well, we'll give you occupancy, but you have to be a restaurant. So nuts.
Well, I mean, hey, the food's freaking
the food's
bomb.
pretty good, yeah.
Yes, like the fish fry, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad I get to do that every Friday.
Yeah, wait till the barbecue gets better. You'll just keep your eyes peeled. There's gonna be some cool stuff happening.
All right. So what's currently happening with Faklandia?
Currently, what's happening with Faklandia? We have. I actually just hired 2 people. They started today before I got here. I was doing training before I got here.
Nice.
So we're looking at upping our production with beer. I'm looking at really dialing in some of the staples, finally really committing to the bit, as one would say, because we are a storybook brewery, and all of our beers are based on characters in a story that I wrote. So it'd be really nice to have all those people on tap at one time.
So how many people are like, how many main people are there in your story?
Well, it's 7 to 8. Depends on who you ask and what time of year it is. Because Knox Otter is a black Belgian ale, and he doesn't like hang out well in the summer. So he'll be in the fall time. But everyone else, Liz Wiz are American cream ale. You got Salamander strawberry blonde. Pallidus are American pale ale. Thuja pineapple pale ale. And the other seasonal character is Madame Clezione. That's a mimosa saison.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then who am I missing here? I know there's like a couple of them.
Right. I can't think of it.
because it's I'm on the spot right now and I can't think of my own thing I repeat six times a day.
Dude, it happens. Believe me, it happens.
Now we're not allowed to advertise, but you might want to go down to check for yourself the name, just the names. You can't buy nothing, not based off of us. But
check out some information. Look, you guys have information on your Facebook, your website and stuff.
Yeah,
What's your website?
Faklandia.com.
How do you spell that?
Faklandia.com.
That's right. You hear that? Faklandia.com. Mm-hmm. So I met Nate, I would say, has it been like almost 3 years now?
I mean, yeah, because it was, we've only been, this is our third year, like I said, so we're really, this is our first year that isn't like restricted by something. So this is our first time we're like kind of swimming in a sea of identity and like what we're going to pick and do. And like, this is the first time we're really going to like commit, Mm-hmm. And, I think we met you, I think you stopped in for something. And then, because we were looking for something to do on one of the nights.
Yeah, I think it was like Thursday or something.
Yeah, because we had karaoke on Thursdays originally.
Yeah.
And then we ended up moving them to Friday because we had trivia on Thursdays, and that's hot.
Yeah.
7 p.m. we have trivia.
So if you guys haven't checked out Faklandia Karaoke, not only is there information at Faklandia's social media, there's also information at Sorta Ridiculous' social media. So like the Facebook, the Instagrams.
But you guys not just have the bar stuff. You guys have like role-playing games and wargaming going on in the back room, right?
Yeah. Actually, that is I actually subleased that room out to the Manival, and it's actually a Magic the Gathering store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We allow wargaming, board games, card games, all of it on the restaurant side too.
Sure.
So, but you can do all that on the other side.
Okay.
Right. You guys have a nice selection of games over there too.
Yeah, and the other nice thing is like we have 60 or 70 board games for free in the Hall of Heroes. So we have like a little alcove thing where you can sit, and it actually has the full body artwork of all the characters that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay. But that little side one, like on the north wall by the kitchen back there.
Nope.
No, on the other side.
The other
where we were all sitting for your karaoke night when you had the folks and when you're the premiere of your own.
Yeah,
beer.
the premiere of the Gin Juice. I know we mentioned that not too long ago. So that was the beer where Sorta Ridiculous collaborated with Faklandia, and it was an orange ginger saison.
Yeah.
It was pretty tasty, that was for sure.
Yeah, it was tasty as freaking all get out. Like, it's my favorite beer right now. It still is.
Well, we're on the last of it. So
yeah. You're going to have to make some more.
We might. My storage is a little backed up right now because I got to make I've got a malt liquor coming down the pipeline. I've got to gear up for IPA Fest. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do Twan's beer.
That's right. That's right. The Marvelous.
Yep. And then there's a local author who wrote a story, and his main character used to solve mysteries while eating our pizza and in Faklandia, and so he wrote us into the book. So I told him, I said, hey, we should do a book signing, and I'll make a beer for it. And he's like, yeah, sure, just let me know when. And like, I've just gotten slowly behind with everything. Obviously running the kitchen, the bar, and the brewery part is insane to say the least. But you have so sooner than later, there's going to be a special IPA coming out with a book release. Just watch our Facebook. There's going to be one of these days that I'm going to make 19 posts and everyone's going to get really confused.
So be looking forward to that blizzard of.
It's great that there's all sorts of things ahead for you.
Yeah, it's almost weird because people reach out to me, which is like the coolest thing. So like, you're really approachable, and I feel like we can just say, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, yeah. And then sometimes I forget that I said yeah to 6 other people. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have to get my dog and clean my kegs at the same time. This is going to be impossible. That was this morning.
Yeah, but you're kicking ass though, dude. I remember like from the way things were at the beginning to now, there's so much going on.
Also, the magic word is delegate.
Yeah, you need people to delegate to.
That's right.
But you have Adele to delegate.
Yes, exactly. I could. No, it's one of those things.
Yeah. No, for sure. So outside of the brewing and stuff like that, you said that you're looking to do more things. Does that include like? Because I see that you guys have the drag shows now too. Are there other types of events that you guys are looking at doing?
Yeah, I think our next one is going to be I just put in the we have to make sure the city approves it first, but we're having like a couple bands play on the 29th of July, fingers crossed. We have a drag show. It's either going to be mid-July or mid-August. We have a burlesque show August 5th. I have to check the Facebook.
All right. Okay. So there's gonna be folks loosening up their buttons, babe. So
yeah, I mean we've got some moves. I just had Jorge Valentine play last weekend.
Okay.
If you guys haven't checked out Jorge and the Honest Love, he's a one-man band. He's pretty sweet. A good friend of mine. He used to work for me at the gym and or work with me at the gym, and he took his career into music and he's pretty awesome. So
very cool.
Yeah. So when you're not brewing or doing Faklandia stuff, what do you do on your off time?
Man, well, we just closed on a house 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. I'm doing house stuff. I also play a lot of Diablo 4. And believe it or not, after working all day, either making beer or making food, I end up going home and making beer and or food. I'm too broke to have a midlife crisis where you buy a sports car, so I make bread. So I'll go home and I'll make 4 to 6 loaves of bread, and then I'm like, I gotta eat all of it. And then I go on this then I have midlife crisis part 2, and then I'll buy a beef brisket, and then I'll corn it myself, and then I'll smoke it and make pastrami, and then I have pastrami sandwiches for 6 weeks.
That's not a bad choice
delegate.
for 6 weeks. Yes, delegate. So you mentioned Diablo 4, dude.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's awesome. I think it's really good. I think it's a good mesh of D2 and D3. I really feel like people are jumping the gun on, there's nothing to do with the game anymore after you reach level 100, get all your stuff, maxed out. I really feel like you're just not capitalizing on what's all there. I think that there's a lot of gameplay. It's kind of like Elden Ring where, you beat it once and then it's like, hey, if you want a platinum, just beat me 2 more times. And you just kind of get immersed in the world and you just, let it take over. Because I played Diablo 2 competitive ladders. Diablo 3 I did seasons competitively, and that was a lot of fun. So for me, it's all about the seeing your name on that leaderboard.
All right. So another question for you. So with you being a gamer, what would you say are 5 of the games that you're cycling to, or 5 of your favorite games?
Well, that's a very good question.
All right,
I've got any Pokemon. I will. Every time they're like, new Pokemon comes out in November, you can pre-order right now. I smash that button every single time.
Favorite generation? Favorite generation, yeah.
I'm going to say 3.
Yeah, so Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah.
All right. That was the one that I skipped. I went from Gold and Silver to Diamond and Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah, which I was like, wow, this is really good. So I missed out on the diving and stuff.
But I think for most extensive gameplay that I just couldn't put down for almost 2.5 years was the X and Y and their expansions, because you could do that whole fly through the portal thing and just keep running into legendaries and re-roll stats.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was insane. So you could just at the end of the game you could re-encounter all these legendaries and keep finding ones that were better or you know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah, I had to start X over.
Well, you can't, because you can't breed any of the legendaries, so the only way to roll anything high level is to either do the raids and the new ones or go back and then try to chance encounter and then reset. But so Pokemon, Elden Ring, Skyrim, the Diablo series, and then Resident Evil is my favorite series of all time.
All right, so how much time have you put into Skyrim? How many years have you put into Skyrim?
Oh boy, there was one time I collected every skull in the game. The game didn't respawn any more skulls.
Oh wow!
I filled 4 houses with skulls. Yeah, so I don't know how many years.
It's a video game, right? Yeah, I filled 4 houses with skulls.
Yeah, there was actually a glitch where you stack them, and then there's a house in one of the. It was the first house you actually get as a reward. You can actually stack them over the balcony.
Okay.
And there's a glitch where the animation plays where they're falling. Mm-hmm. So if you leave the room as the skull's falling, and then you walk back in, it makes a skull waterfall.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, geez. So
Yeah,
did you get shot in the knee with that in the Skyrim?
You always take an arrow to the knee.
Take an arrow. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Take an arrow to the knee.
For sure. But yeah, I just played basically anything. Now, if I wanted to like jump into like a subgenre, because those are all kind of in the same like RPG. I used to play a lot of RTSs. So StarCraft, Sins of Solar Empire, Homeworld, anything real time strategy.
All right. Did you get into like OG Warcraft?
Oh yeah. I love tuk back to work. You know?
Yeah, the first one was like my absolute favorite. That was my introduction to RTSs, and pretty freaking slick. All right, so what is your favorite style of beer? Or maybe like a couple, or 5 of them.
Styles of beer or brands? Because there's
styles.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a giant fan of saisons. I really like the yeast. Because I don't know, I like the funk.
Yeah, of course.
It's like drinking a funky bass line.
There we
awesome.
go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then, obviously, like, High Life's my favorite, like, non-craft beer, so, like, I have to go with Pilsners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say IPAs, Russian Imperial Stouts, and, another style of beer that I just really like drinking. I would say Ambers.
Ambers.
The amber red category.
Right. No, I couldn't even tell you like I only have like maybe like 2 or 3 that I'm very.
Yeah, someone's like, "Hey, we have this new saison at tap." I'm like,
"Okay."
Yeah. Or if they're like, "We have this imperial or like imperial well, I'll call it an IPS or whatever, like some imperial pale saison, right?
Right, a little hybrid.
Doesn't exist.
Okay.
But if you had a really hoppy saison, I'm not saying I wouldn't drink 9 of them, but I might drink 9 of them.
Of course. All right. So, what was the most recent of your beers that you had?
Oh, that I've had?
Of Faklandia beer.
Palatus. It's so selfishly, Palatus is
mine too, actually.
So Palatus is the beer that I brewed because I like the profile of it, and it was I was sitting at one of my favorite bars in West Dallas, and I had a little bit of a River West Stein in a glass, and the bartender asked for horseshoes and hand grenades, and I opened the other one, and I started pouring and didn't realize I had the other stuff in the glass. So I took a sip of it, and I said, "This is the most perfect beer profile I've ever had in my life." So then I tried to recreate that, 2.5 ounce pour that was in the bottom of the glass, and that's what Palatus is. So,
okay.
So it's like a hoppy amber.
What was the other beer?
River West Stein and Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was the name of the beer. I thought that was
Horseshoes and Hand Grenades is a pale ale by Central Waters.
Okay.
It's my
thank you for the clarification.
That actually explains why I love the palate. Like I had it at Drunken Cobra the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, this is but it looks weird, which is awesome.
Yeah. It's definitely like, it looks like an amber ale, but it drinks like a very like almost too hoppy pale ale in a way. But you have that malt backbone from like the amber and to really break that and make it drinkable.
Right.
Yeah.
So this dude's like a wizard when it comes to like brewing beers. Like he showed me his like equations or his formulas for some of the stuff he was doing. I was like, wait, what? There's not a single mug on here. So like, how does that work? But yeah, so like brewing with you was a blast, dude.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot we did that. We spent an entire day doing that, didn't we?
Yes,
that was good. Yeah, because I like for me. And people are like, "Oh, why'd you start a business?" So I'm like, because I wanted to have the job that I wanted to have without the experience. Because if I'm the owner, I get to, you get to do that job. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't care. And I just have that conversation with myself every day. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. Smash the button. Boom. Smash the button. 2 times now, y'all. Just 2. All right. So I'm Darren.
I'm Billy Ray.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Brandon.
All right. This has been another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. We will catch you guys next week.
Bye-bye.